Just for some context, this is their side.
No justice, no peace, motherfuckers!
So these white liberals want cops to die, but they want them also as their personal bodyguards? So which is it? Cringy, I know. Here they are, flipping off black and brown people.
Fuck you!
Meanwhile, we're having so much fun. But just to point out the obvious, that they're enjoying freedoms they would never get in another country. The talk show starts now! Alright, folks, so we were at the Best Maui for Trump rally yesterday. Like 400 people plus. Amazing music. It was like a dance party. And considering everything is shut down, it was actually pretty nice. But there were some Antifa protesters there. And unfortunately, they were just miseducated. Yeah. So we had a bunch of people that basically had no argument, right? So we get there and we're like, what do you think about, what were they even saying? So they're like, oh, Trump is racist, Trump is blah, 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 blah. And we're like, all right, what is an example that you have of Trump being racist? And one girl starts twerking.
Yeah, her response to everything was turning around and shaking her ass at it.
Right. And another girl's like, yeah, get it. Like, get what? You're not getting respect. Are you saying get it because it's a reference to being a stripper? Are you imitating Cardi B? Like, what exactly are you going for here? But at the end of the day, it's also like, they just had no response and they had no actual argument. They're not trying to be right, especially when they're resting on the laurels of a phrase like no justice, no peace. And let's dissect that for a second.
Because they were chanting it for about 5 minutes. No justice, no peace.
Right. And so it's like, first of all, they haven't looked into who they're shouting no justice, no peace for at all. It shows how kind of misled they are, which is, again, kind of sad because it's like these could be really good people.
Yeah.
But they just have no idea what they're talking about. They're getting hysterical. It's like a toddler not having a lollipop. So it's like they just throw a temper tantrum and expect themselves to get their way. No justice, no peace is such an arrogant statement if you really break it down. What it's insinuating is the only reason you have peace is because we've allowed it. If there's not justice in the way that we want, then there's going to be no peace.
So they're basically saying if they don't get what they want, they're going to be violent.
Yeah, which is like, what a cheap and easy way to get through life. Imagine if I was at the store and I was like, you know what? I want this, food for free. And if you don't give it to me, I'll be violent. I mean, that's basically what they're doing. They're literally looting like Walmarts and like different stores like that. But this is not a third world country. You do not have the place to say no justice as you see it, and therefore no peace. We're the ones standing with Hawaiians, Filipinos, Hispanics, blacks, whites, which is also awesome. We shouldn't have to apologize for any of these races. We're actually the ones working all together to unify our country. And you're the one standing there, mostly white, which is just ironic, I suppose. Because I know that black people that are part of the BLM riots are also very violent and are targeting white people for being white. But it's just ironic that you're saying no justice, no peace. You have no concept. You've never done the research on any of these people. Like, let's take Breonna Taylor. 2013, found with a dead body in her rental car. She was in the hallway with her boyfriend at the time, and he shot first. How did you not know that? Are you actually just listening to CNN? I know it's easy to agree with people and just take things at face value, but goddamn, you gotta actually do a little bit of research. And George Floyd, yeah, he was 6'8". He's has a rap sheet, held a gun to a pregnant woman's belly, has been to jail multiple times.
Yep, and also all of his friends were telling him to cooperate, and he wasn't. He was yelling, "I can't breathe," before he was even out of his car.
Yeah.
He was in the back of the cop car yelling, "I can't breathe," with nobody touching him.
Yeah, and people act so triggered. It's like, or what about the latest case from Philadelphia? He's he was approaching the cops with a knife. There have been so many examples of cops that have been killed because they didn't shoot fast enough to save their own lives.
Yep, and to all the people saying, well, they should shoot him in the leg, that's more of a danger to people around because it's easier to miss.
Yeah.
And then to all the people saying that there should have been a social worker instead of a cop, that would be a really dead social worker right now.
Yeah, that's right, and he had already punched his mom in the face. And yeah.
As far as no justice, no peace, shouldn't there be justice for all the violence that they're causing? Justice goes both ways.
It does, yeah. And if you want justice and peace, that is the reason why we have America. If you want no justice, no peace, there's plenty of third world countries where you can go out and either be the victim or be the perpetrator of it. If you really want no justice, no peace, again, how about the rest of the world? You can go to South Africa and enjoy the lack of justice and the lack of peace there. You can go to all of Africa and enjoy that. I mean, there's so many countries where you can be beaten up for your beliefs, be killed, disappear, targeted for your race, targeted for being a minority. You have it so good here and you have no idea. We're standing on the shoulders of giants, and all these people have is lack of gratitude. And instead of actually trying to work with people and create more justice and more peace equally for everybody, you just want to target whites. You just want to be violent, and you want to say something as arrogant as no justice in the way that I want, and therefore no peace. What happens if the other side stands up and does that? What if just the right in general were to unify and say no justice in the way that we see it and no peace? You wouldn't like that very much. So why are you setting that precedent?
All lives matter.
Oh, yeah.
So the only people putting a race before matters is them. They're
you.
saying Black Lives Matter, which Black Lives Matter now is like saying Black lives are the only ones that matter.
Yes.
Which it's not. White lives matter, Black lives matter, Hawaiians matter, Filipinos matter, everyone matters.
Yeah, exactly. And we are the ones that say all lives matter and actually fight for it and actually believe in it. Again, our side of the street is like all races. You can see from the other YouTube videos. We're having a ball. And there they are, like a bunch of white Antifa supporters, which again, being white is fine. But it's just ironic if you're standing there being like, only Black lives matter. Like, how far gone are you?
Yep. It's like they're all of them are either white or there's a few Hispanic girls over there.
This
like
last
the one
time.
who was turning around shaking her ass at every question asked.
Yeah, and that's not
Yikes.
really representing her people well. Like, if you see everything in the spectrum of race, how are you representing your people right now? If we say, oh yeah, that's your belief, how can you defend it? How is Trump racist, even though he's been the best for the Black community of any recent presidents at all? And she turns around and shakes her ass. Would her ancestors be proud? I don't think so. I mean, we're not proud of her. Like, she didn't change any minds. We were basically like, we literally were like, we don't want what you're selling.
Yeah. The other girl is yelling, get it. It's like,
Yeah.
well, you're not getting any respect, that's for sure.
Yeah. And you're not getting any dollar bills. It's not a Cardi B song. So, but, you know, the low class, the assumption that peace is reliant on their opinion. No, justice is equally applied.
Yep.
And I don't know why BLM keeps picking, like, criminals to defend. It's the oddest thing, and the fact that they've been able to get away with that with the media supporting that. If the media supports you, if the whole Democratic Party supports you, if you can be violent in the streets and find no consequence, maybe you're not the resistance, maybe you're just the sheep. Like, the resistance is actually, if you're not censored by Facebook and YouTube for having conservative voices, which is like, I love my country, I love the people that put their lives on the line for me every day, aka thin blue line. Again, it just comes down to like, you're just the norm, and we're the ones actually thinking for ourselves. But they think of themselves as the resistance. It's the most cushy resistance I've ever seen in my entire life.
They can't call themselves the resistance. Anarchists maybe, but that's just because they're burning down cities and getting away with it.
Yeah, opportunists even, right? Like, this is easy. You could run into a Walmart, steal whatever you want, burn it down, punch people in the face for their race, and then go home. I mean, isn't that just that's like even worse than the KKK, because the KKK never got away with burning down cities. But if you dislike the fact that they were targeting people for their race, why are you doing it and perpetuating it? You are the KKK. BLM is the current KKK.
Definitely. And like Philly right now, you can walk out with a shopping cart full of stuff that you stole and walk right past the cop and they won't do anything about it. Like, how's that justice?
Yeah, how's that justice and how's that the resistance? You're just a thief.
Yep, that's just a criminal.
You're just a criminal. You're an opportunist and a criminal. It's like, that's not justice, that's not peace. You don't want justice. You just want your way.
You want your way and free stuff.
Yeah, and free stuff. Sounds kind of nice, I guess.
Yeah, I mean...
Maybe we're on the wrong side.
No.
No, we're on the actual justice side. So, and we will continue the talk show and having as much fun as possible. We'll continue our little dance parties and our pro-patriot message.
Yep.
So yeah, I do want to end off with this again. There's plenty of countries where there is no justice and no peace. And America is not the place for that.
Nope. If you want to riot, kill, all that, South Africa, they love it. But, you know, all these little white girls talking about it, they won't last very long over there.
And that's the craziest thing. Girls, they have no idea how good they have it. There are so many places in the world that they would just take you, and you would have no recourse. There would be no justice, and you would have no voice, actually. So there would be no justice and no voice.
Yeah, if they found themselves in a dark alley somewhere in, let's say, Philly or Chicago with a couple BLM guys, it might not go too well for them, and they don't realize it.
And they don't realize it. They don't realize it because they're so insulated and protected by, again, the men and women that have come before them, that have sacrificed, bled, hoped, dreamed, and frankly died so that they could have freedom. And they don't even have any gratitude for it.
No appreciation at all.
We gotta switch that around. Gratitude starts today. Talk show starts today.
More fun next time on the talk show.
If you have any footage or if you want to connect to Anastasia Patriotic Magic on YouTube and